Hi, everyone. No one yet, but everyone all at the same time. Welcome to another Sunday school session here at Witches and Heathens of CNY. Tonight is one of those flyby ones where they're not prepared and we don't really have a concrete topic tonight. We're going to go in a few different directions, but to start with, I want to take a sip of coffee. And happy Easter for anyone that celebrates Easter. My father was big on Easter. My parents, we celebrate Easter every year. And it's more of a celebration of family in our house and candy. So, yes, that's what I did today. I went to two cemeteries, gave out jelly beans to ancestors, and hung out with my family. We did our own little Easter egg hunt in the backyard. It was pretty decent out today, so hopefully some of y'all were able to get outside. My apologies for starting late. I was trying to think of maybe if I wanted to do a spell or not, but then it would take longer to get all the ingredients together. So tonight I'm just gonna, like I said, kind of go in a bunch of different directions. To start with, we will talk about our fun little thing we have going on. It's the Witches Challenge 2020. So if you missed it, which I put videos everywhere, so I don't know how you missed it, but if you did, it is basically we're challenging everyone to recreate their favorite witchy movie scene in a picture and post it using the hashtag Witches Challenge 2020 and put it alongside the original scene that you're recreating, or even if it's like a movie poster or whatever, definitely post the original with it so we know what we're comparing it to. I really just want to see what everyone comes up with. I can't wait. I can't wait. So the deadline is May 15th, and you can win one ticket into the Witches Samhain Ball. That's one less ticket that you have to buy. That's a $75 value. So get creative. And yes, just start posting them. You can post them on your personal page. Just make sure it's public for everyone to see. And again, use the hashtag Witches Challenge 2020. I would like it to spread. We'll see, though. We'll see. So earlier this week, I asked a question to the group. Now, well, I did it through my shop, and that was on Market Monday, I do believe. Maybe it wasn't because we're not following that at the moment. But I am doing a little bit of research for developing new products in my shop. But as far as our community and our group goes, it is good to know what everyone thinks that they need help with. And here's why. Because we have the resources to help you with those things. Okay? Now I did post that a few places. Well, just Instagram and Facebook. I did post that two places, and I got a very good response in both places. And the common theme along all of the answers that I received: one, self-confidence when it comes to doing your spell work; two, money. There's no explanation needed for that. Money is an issue for a lot of people when it comes to practicing. And then kind of just scared to dive in. It seems like people are a little bit scared to dive in, or, they don't know exactly what path they're supposed to be on. So these are all the commonalities as far as what witches think is holding them back. What's their biggest struggle in witchcraft? Now, the answer to all of these questions, most of it, I have to say, it's within you. So I can tell you a formula to, oh, and one of the other ones was that they don't feel like they're practicing enough. Okay, so I can tell you a formula to make you want to do all these things, but it's up to you. In the end, it's up to you to decide to implement these things. So, let's talk about the self-confidence one. When it comes to spell work, your confidence, your intent, your energy is huge. Obviously, it's across the board. It's all energy work. And if you're feeling a lack of self-confidence, that's going to do something not in a good way for your spell work. You know, obviously, if you're going into it and you're standing tall and your head is high and you're feeling really good about it, and you know in your heart of hearts that you're going to try your best and it's going to come out however it needs to come out, and you're going to be confident. It's not always easy for everybody, and I understand that. When I was first starting out, you know, when anyone's first starting out, you always have the doubts of, well, you know, am I not doing it right? Am I not saying the right things? You know, you're your biggest critic when it comes to everything in your life. So why not for witchcraft too? This is something that a lot of people struggle with. It's not just you if you're one of those people. My biggest thing when it comes to my confidence in my spell work, number one, I know that me doing the spell work isn't a guarantee. And I go into that every time knowing that it might potentially not happen, but at the same time, it's for a good reason. There's always reasoning behind everything. There's always, you know, if it doesn't line up for you, if it's not supposed to line up for you, it's not going to line up for you. And that's okay. That's okay. Because sometimes we wish for things that we shouldn't be wishing for. And if it doesn't happen, then it's probably a good thing. So you have, a lot of it also is the confidence in the universe, in your energy, in your beliefs. And, you know, again, I can talk to you until I'm blue in the face for specific ways to battle that, but you have to implement these things yourself. You have to be able to put that one foot forward. It's a self-discipline. In order to get your confidence up, number one, you're going to have to do spell work. You're going to have to do as many workings as you can. Think about it. When you're first learning how to drive a car, are you confident that you can drive this car? Or are you thinking, oh my God, I can crash at any time and these lives are in my hands? Of course, that's what you're thinking. As a 14, 15-year-old thinking about driving, it was terrifying for me. I didn't get my license until after I was 21. And I was practicing witchcraft long before that. So when it comes to witchcraft, it's the same sort of situation. You have to keep practicing and keep practicing. And again, with the whole car analogy, the car goes where you make it go. Just like in witchcraft, your energy is going to make the spell go in what way it's going to go. So when you're going into these workings that you're doing, you need to have that full emotion vested into this working. You know, you have to be able to put yourself 100% into it. And you have to let go of the lack of confidence that you carry. You have to. And there's spells that you could do to help you with that. Like, you can look up any kind of self-confidence spell, a self-love spell. There's a few things across the board that you can use. You can use things like chamomile, lavender, rose petals, rose quartz. You can make a bath out of some of these things, and you can do a whole little ritual with candles and really just kind of, dragon's blood too. It's good for your skin. Put that in there. You know, you should be doing these things to build yourself up. I think a huge key in all of this is being in tune with yourself inside. That confidence needs to be there. And it takes practice to get that confidence high. It does. But it is attainable, but you have to stop not doing things. You have to actually do things in order for your confidence level to go up. See what I'm saying? Now, if you're one of the people that lack self-confidence, maybe even lack the funds to be able to do spell work, this is what I want you to do. Number one, you can get candles at the dollar store. Many different kinds of candles. Okay, if you need colored candles, metaphysical shops sell candles. Okay, for cheap. You can get candles for cheap. But harvest all your ingredients from outside. Go for a walk in nature, and obviously you need to know your plants, but there's certain things, that sumac berries you can use, make a peace water out of it, white clovers, you can use those in spells. Red clovers, you can use those in happy marriage spells type stuff. Aster flowers, those grow wild. Like, figure out what grows wild around you. We have mugwort that grows wild. Like, you can find a lot of this stuff out in nature. So what was my first successful big spell, and did that light a brighter fire inside of you? So I'm wondering what spells I started out with. I feel like the first ones were probably protection and probably prosperity are my biggest things. So, when I first started getting into the paranormal world, that's what I focused on. Like, I feel like we, as kids growing up, like, we always thought it was normal to be doing, like, making little potions and doing all these things and trying to contact the dead and having all these seances. And we had a cross fly at us once. Like, we've always been involved in this. So I'm trying to think of, protection was one huge thing. We have done so many protection spells on this property. I've always felt like there's a bubble over me. You know what I mean? Like, there's always, for me, it's like the spirits of the land are helping me big time. And all of my protection spells that I put on this place are also protecting me big time. So I think a lot of that, everyone needs protection. Whether or not it's from real people or from spiritual entities, it seems like everybody needs protection at some point in their lives. And apparently I needed that because I remember walking around the house with protection water. That was an old recipe. But, anytime you see a successful working, it does light that fire inside of you. It totally does. It really, when you start seeing things happen for real in front of you, like, you're like, holy crap. That's exactly what I asked for, and it just happened. It adds another piece of confidence to that puzzle of yours, which is huge. So yeah, that's definitely something everyone should be doing. And I know that's one of the hardships, the struggles that people are coming across, is not feeling like they're practicing enough or doing enough or celebrating the Sabbaths or the solstices enough. Well, to be quite honest, you don't have to. Like, no one's telling you have to. Like, it doesn't make you not a witch if you're not always doing these things. Because really, a lot of people, when it comes to celebrating the Sabbaths, a lot of it has to do with decorating the altar properly. And if you don't have a big altar space, that's fine too. A little tiny decorations here and there just to signify whatever Sabbath is coming. That's, and light a candle that day. There's not much you have to do. Like, to honor that, there's not much you have to do. You could go crazy and bake all the breads and do all the things too, and there's nothing wrong with that either. And it doesn't take, like, me saying that you don't have to do all these things shouldn't take away from the people that do all those things, because it's fun to do too. So it all depends on what you want to do. And that's the amazing thing about it. I enjoy it because no one's telling, I'm not being told, well, you need to say this and this and this every day. And if you're not, then I don't recognize you as a witch. Yes, I am a good witch. I am. And hi. I know what I'm here for. So, of course, my confidence is fine. But I do know what I am here for. I'm here to help everybody on their journey. I've known this for a long time. I've seen many things that confirm that for me, and I'm working in a space where I love what I do. I love meeting the people. I get a natural high whenever I'm talking about helping people. If I'm trying to tell someone, like, if I'm talking with someone about certain things, and it gets me excited, so it gets them excited. So they're excited to do all these things, and it makes them feel good. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you guys be the best witches that you can be. That's what this whole group is here for, which is amazing. So back to what I was saying before, because I was on the budget part of things. So I know a lot of people don't have the budget to be witchy. You need to throw that idea right out, because like I said, you can get candles very cheap. Dollar store. I'm pretty sure you can even order them online right now on Amazon or something. You can even order them from my shop. I have the colored ones. They're 50 cents a piece. It's like you can find cheap candles. I mean, I feel like that's the only thing man-made, or if you make your own candles, you can do that too. But I'm just saying, that's probably the one thing that you can't get from nature. Or a lot of things you can get from nature, Like I said, go for that walk. If you have like something like green lakes around you, go for that walk. I mean, while you're out doing rituals, you can be, or doing hiking, you could be doing magical stuff. Okay, so when I do spell work, it sometimes takes a lot of time to prep, I'm not gonna lie. When it comes to, like, when I did the poppet thing, it took a lot to just gather my herbs and stuff and print my picture, write the stuff out on the back of the thing. But sometimes you have to put that work in order to be successful in your workings. Sometimes I'm doing it on the fly. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I have this structure of ingredients. Sometimes I have to swap things out, and sometimes I want to bring more things into the ingredients. And then I just make sure I write it down in my book of shadows and make sure that my recipe, you got to know your recipes, because if it works, for future if you need to pull that spell out again. Now, with deities, I do, right here, I have Hecate and Pan. And those are the ones that I follow the most. But obviously with other things, sometimes I'll work with archangels. Sometimes you have to cross into other things depending on what you need. Also, elements. I do incorporate the elements. I'm big on the elements. I am an earth element, so I feel like I have to bring in all those elements to me to feel grounded while I'm doing my workings. Not required though. That's all in how you practice. But usually when I'm doing something with an altar, I'll have all my elements represented. And I'll call upon the elements. I'll say by earth, by air, by fire, by water. And I call upon you to aid me in my working. This might be my spell work. How would I cleanse that in order for my intentions to be successful? Now there are pre-blended unhexing like candle fixing blends that you can purchase. I know the Voodoo store makes some really good unhexing oils. If you happen to get the oil, you can put it on your tools while you're doing ritual. There's also different herbs. If you look into hoodoo and root work, you can look into the different herbs that are linked to unhexing. I'm going to get my book real quick that I always use when it comes to herbology, because it's my favorite book as a reference book. So hold on one second. And also, if you feel like someone did hex you, there are ways of going about trying to use divination to see if that's the case. So you could potentially maybe get some tarot cards if you have some, and you know, try and ask the cards if they see anything about unhexing, or if someone hexed you. And actually, burdock is an unhexing plant, which is pretty interesting. Burdock. But yeah. So if you were looking to cleanse yourself, that's different. Unhexing and that are different. And cleansing are different. So hold on. Yes, and then at the same time, if you're doing unhexing, you want to think, do you want to return it to sender? Do you want it to just be squashed and you be okay and the other person be unaffected? How do you want to do it? But there is reverse evil return tricks. And for that, you can use things like alder, blackberry, black hen feathers, devil's shoestrings, Epsom salts, eucalyptus, lemon, rue, sage, salt. Yeah. So there's those. We also have break jinxes, uncross, and take off unnatural illness. So you could use things like cinquefoil, which that grows wild in my yard. I know that. Ooh, there's a red, it looks like a red freaking mosquito. If that flies at me, y'all are going to have some entertainment. Yeah, you can use things like mint, nettle, fern, burdock, black hen feathers, ants, angelica, salt, rue, personal concerns, which is of yours. And you can also make things like witch's bottle, like an unhexing witch's bottle. You can also, once you feel like you're free and clear of this hex, you need to make yourself a protection, like a witch's ball, a protection ball. You can make one yourself out of a clear ornament and a bunch of herbs, protection herbs. You could, I mean, you could try that. It also depends on if you know exactly who hexed you as well. But again, it's all about intention. If me personally, I would do a ritual of unhexation when it comes to that. But again, that's just my perspective on things. Everyone can have their own spin to things. There's a lot of different things you can do for unhexing. You can do candle magic, where you take a 7-day candle and you dress it in herbs. Dragon's blood is great with protection. It's also great with boosting any intent. So I'll put that in everything. I usually, honestly, I really do. I pretty much I even have it in my soap because I wash myself in it, which is great because while I'm washing with the dragon's blood, because it is actually good for your skin, I am thinking of my intent for the day. So I'm in the shower and I'm washing my face, washing my hands, and I'm thinking about what I need to do for the day. Definitely. Hey, if you have the feeling and you feel like you need to do something to protect yourself, definitely do it. For sure. Hands down. And, you know, go with your intuition. But yes, so now back to the budget thing. I think that's pretty much, when it comes to the tools and stuff of the trade, you don't necessarily need everything right out of the gate. You know, the most important thing is something to burn stuff in, and something to burn candles on, and offering dishes, which all these things you can pretty much get at the dollar store. And you can't get any cheaper than that, really. But eventually, this group is going to help with that. I'm hoping by next year, after this witches ball, we will have enough funds to start our workshops so we can be more hands-on and get you guys learning. And I know a lot of people already know a lot of stuff and whatnot. Yes, black tourmaline definitely is a good crystal to have, especially when it comes to negative caca energy. Yes, for sure. That's one of my favorites. That was actually, black tourmaline was the first crystal we started to sell because it has such great attributes to it. You know, that's a whole nother way to do magic is crystal magic. And that's, okay, so we covered the confidence and we covered the budget. Now, as far as practicing on a day-to-day basis or a more regular basis. So, I mean, there's stuff you can do every day that even if it just seems little and small, it's still building that relationship with your craft. Like there's so much distraction in this world right now, even not just right now because of all the plague, but just in this century, you know, with all the electronics, with all sports, the TV shows, reality shows, you know, chasing the dollar, all this stuff, we're all distracted and we're not able to turn inward because by the time we get home, we're exhausted. We've just worked all of our energy away and we have nothing to give to ourselves. Well, boosting your confidence is going to help with this. Once you feel good about your craft, you should want to do more. You know, another thing that might help if you feel like you're slacking as a witch and you want to do more is start making like a blog of sorts about it. Because if you're trying to show people the cool stuff that you do, yeah, I gotta actually do cool stuff. You know what I mean? So if you're even if you don't get like a ton of traffic on it, you're still putting it out there and you're still someone might see it, you know, so you're gonna try and do your best, usually is how that goes. But it can be exhausting. It is energy work, you know, so it's going to take a lot of energy out of you. And nobody ever said it was easy either, because if it was, everyone would be doing it, right? And when it comes to this part of things, people also say focus has a lot to do with it. And I get that. I do. If you had it all laid out for you, though, even if you weren't the one to write the spell, but as long as you had it, you know, if you're going to go cook something, number one, you have to eat, so it's going to motivate you. And number two, if you have a recipe, you have it all laid out for you already. So you have to try and think of it in that sort of way. Like, you're feeding your soul when you're doing this stuff. You're feeding your soul. You're putting another piece of your puzzle into you by doing another working. Think about it. Every time you're doing one of these workings, you're connecting. You're going into that subconscious mind. You're going into that, you know, that world that which is love. You know, like that's a huge part of it. A huge part of it. And if you try and compare it to that, it might motivate you more. But there's little things that you can do throughout your day, even if it's something as little as every morning you wake up and you say affirmations to yourself. Positive, confidence boosting, energy boosting affirmations. You know, I watched this one video recently because they always say the morning routine of someone, especially millionaire morning routines, is where it's at. So like I'm bad with routine. Okay. So I'm trying to help myself when it comes to that. That's my weakness, is scheduling and routine. But I've been watching these videos, and it's, you know, the start of your day is very important. Statistically, it seems the start of your day is very important to how the rest of your day is going to go. And this one chick, she starts her day off with meditating, with like a lemon water mixture that is awesome, and exercising and taking a shower. Like that to me sounds like a great morning. But I wake up too late, so I have to start waking up early. But something like this, you know, if you try and set up your morning well, good. I don't know which one to use there, but if you set it up good, it should help you with your energy throughout the day. If you're getting enough sleep, like there's other things that are sucking your energy too. So it's not just the witchcraft. The witchcraft should boost your energy. Like when you're doing the rituals, if you have that confidence in you, you're going to feel it. You're going to get that like, that Pagan Pride Day feeling that we all get on Pagan Pride Day. It's that elevatedness that you're going to feel. And you need to think that before you sit on your couch and don't do something. You need to think, you know what? Maybe I should just do it because I'm going to feel really good when I'm done. It's like the workout that you don't want to do. All these things that are good for you as a person, as a body, but you need to start focusing on your soul that's within you. And that's huge. That's a huge part of who you are. Of course, I have to click to see more. Oh, well, there's the. Oh, things are popping up. Okay. What is the witchy thing? Okay, so honestly, the coolest things I've ever done more recently, like we always do cool stuff with my sister Jeff and Alan. Usually Jessica joins us as well, probably my husband. And we used to do a lot of ghost hunting. Like this house, we grew up in this house. This house was built in the 1800s, so there's a lot attached to this house. So we have been doing seances for as long as I can remember. But there's been many times in this house that we have gotten clear communication with spirits of the house that was terrifying. But welcomed at the same time, I guess. But yeah, it's definitely, that was always fun. I always like doing stuff in the yard when it's dark out. I always feel very witchy no matter what we're doing out there when it comes to that. A lot of my stuff I love doing is the full moon workings because it just fills me with such full moonness that it's amazing. It's one of those things that I could talk about forever and be silent about forever all at the same time. It's just such a cool feeling to be doing a ritual like that outside. I love it. I love being outside. I love nature and everything like that. That really surprises you and encourages you to be a better witch. So the thing that encourages me to be a better witch is all of you guys. Like, I feel like I need to be the best I can be to help each and every one of you be the best that you can be. So that's something that motivates me daily. That's why I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing because I love it. So, I get a natural high helping you guys on your path. I don't know, that sounds weird, but it's true. Yeah, it's a morning routines. That's seemingly where it's at. So if you want, I can post a cool morning routine like this. Her name's Sunny, and she has a YouTube channel, but she wakes up around 6:30. She goes and she meditates. She has like a vision board. She's all about manifesting and, really it's the laws of attraction. She's all about that kind of stuff. And to start your day out with that, I think is great. And doing the workouts, like I'm not someone that works out. I've got a small child that I chase around. I do my dance videos. That's a workout. And I also clean normally during the day. And that's a workout. I'm literally moving for 5 hours straight. Like I don't take breaks. So I don't ever feel like I have to. But at the same time, when I used to do workouts and stuff, which was probably for like a week, it felt good. It did. I had my yoga mat and everything, my coffee, but that's when I would wake up early and there were no children to bother me. Well, I love you guys too. See, I do. I love this community. I love being a part of the community. I love that the community loves what we're doing. You know, it's so much fun. Like right now is a great time to be living in central New York. Honestly, we have such a strong, supportive community. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah, so I think that's all of the struggles that were listed before. Because it was the commitment, the money, the confidence. The commitment, like I said, no one's forcing you to do anything. It's just how bad do you want it? How bad do you want to elevate your soul? If you want it, you'll do it. You'll do the work every day. And again, it could be something as simple as a morning routine change where you're doing the morning affirmations and you're thinking about the things that you're trying to manifest right now. So if you did a ritual the other night on protection or on prosperity, for the next week, you should be waking up in the morning and saying, I'm going to be prosperous. I'm going to be protected. Whatever the intention is, you can be saying these things, and that's going to just help your ritual. And that's another witchy thing that you're doing, and that's another thing that's going to boost your confidence, and it's going to snowball into fantasticness. I'm telling you, like I said, I can talk to you until I'm blue in the face about these things that you could be doing to better yourself as a person and as a witch, but it's up to you to actually do them. There's not much more I can say on that because that's very true. That's why we have the spell work assignments, because we're trying to get you guys to be as hands-on as possible. If you go into every ritual thinking, I'm just going to drag my feet the whole time, I don't want to spend the time to get everything together, putting all this negative stuff attached to rituals, you're never going to want to do rituals. You're not. It's just going to slow you down, because putting all these negative thoughts into the rituals, probably shouldn't do that either. But that's the thing. You have to want it. And again, I know people work and I know they're exhausted by the end of the day. We all have families. Not we all, but a lot of people have families. And yes, you're exhausted by the end of the day. I totally get it. I do. But then I think, me personally, especially when it comes to like these Sunday school sessions and when I have my new moon wish burnings that I do, I have no choice but to do them because I signed up to do them. So that motivates me to be the best that I can be because I'm doing it for other people. So maybe that's what you need to be thinking. That's why I said, maybe if you start a blog or if you get an Instagram, if you don't have one, or just start posting it. If you can't post it on your page because of your family or whatever, you could always make a whole different page that's just for your witchiness. But yes, it has been a half an hour. I actually did good talking about a whole lot of craziness. I went in every direction possible. But if there's any questions, I will take questions now. And if there are no questions for this episode of Sinday School Session here at Witches and Heathens of CNY, then I guess that's it for tonight. I'm just going to give it a minute. And also, if anyone was curious, I have shown this book many times before, but I was looking in it earlier for the unhexing herbs. But, of course, it's backwards. So it's Hoodoo, Herb, and Root Magic. And it's by Catherine Ronwode. Yronwode. Not sure how you pronounce that. It's pretty crazy. But it's got a whole ton of different plants that you can work with. And then there's a whole section on the back of it that kind of condenses intention, which is great. Takes guesswork out of things. So it has protective roots, herbs, and minerals, love drawing roots, herbs, and minerals, physical health, mental health, success, power, legal matters, court cases, and miscellanea. Yeah, so it's really spiritual, divinatory, cleansing, and lucky roots, herbs, and minerals. I mean, hello, Kevin. There's all sorts of different rituals that you can do that'll get you active. All you have to do is apply yourself. Self-discipline. 100%. 100%. Little steps at a time, even if it's just like, as you're stirring your coffee, you're talking about how you're going to have a great day. You really have to visualize and really, really apply yourself. First witchcraft book that I ever bought, well, my mom bought it for me, and it was Teen Witch by Silver Ravenwolf. Is it Ravenwolf? Silver Ravenwolf. But I had the old edition where it had like a group of teenagers on the front, and it was a girl, and she had like a crop top, and it had a pentacle on it. I was like, I want that shirt. I was a teenager. That's when Media Play was still around, where you can, I don't know how many people went to Media Play as kids, but that was at Shoppingtown Mall. I worked there right before it closed, but that guy must have thought I was a witch. Here's the story for that one, real quick before I end it. I applied to work at Bennigan's, okay? I got the job. I was going to be a hostess, and it closed. It closed the day that I was supposed to start working. Nobody called me. I just read it in the newspaper that, nope, you're not going to work because it's closed forever. Forever. So then after that, I got a job at Media Play. And I was talking to the manager, and I was like, yeah, I got a job at Bennigan's, and they closed. And the guy looked at me, and he's like, oh, well, you don't have to worry about that here, because we'll never close. Days later, he comes up to me, and he's like, you're never going to believe this. He's like, we're closing. And I'm like, oh, my God, I'm so sorry. I figured it was my fault, because I brought that juju over to them. But they had a lot of good sales at the end, and it was really a lot of fun working there for that little bit of time that I did. But yeah, Media Play. It's when they had free coffee. You could hang out there. There were 2 levels. So cool. They had a Macarena dance contest there. Oh yeah, Scott Cunningham. He's definitely a good resource. That's definitely a good resource. Her books are great. She has The Solitary Witch, which is also a good book. Scott Cunningham's really good. I'm trying to think of the other. I have a Scott Cunningham book sitting over there. It's Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs. But those are definitely good resource books. It's always good to have good books to read too, to learn from. That's another thing this chick was saying. That learning is a huge part of your success, and it's adding to your character, it's adding to your person as a spiritual being. You should have these books. And I know that Amazon has a lot of books, like the Kindle. They have a lot of books for free. I've gotten a lot of witchcraft books for free. Yeah. Yes, I did. Oh, that manager looked so surprised when he came to tell me. Like, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to do that. Yeah. It was a cool place. Now it's Black Mamba. It's a skate park. But yeah. I don't know. If anyone has any questions about tonight or wants to add anything, feel free. This was fun. I enjoy just hanging out talking to you guys because I can talk and talk and talk. I'm definitely more into traditional witchcraft. I love ancient ways. I love the fact that Egyptians built pyramids. and here, this is the funny thing too, is like right now we're having the plague, and like so much is getting, people are being really creative and doing a lot of really cool creative stuff, but it's like long ago that's all they had. That's how they got so much stuff accomplished because they didn't have all these distractions that we have nowadays. You know, like how just the fact that they can do astrology back then with no tools or equipment, like that's straight magic. I'm totally down with that. Totally down with the ancients. And, there's nothing wrong if you're more of a modern witch. There's nothing wrong with that. And of course, when it comes to like certain things, some things do need to be modified. Like, switching from flame candles, fire, to LEDs or something. Sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes you can't use incense. You have to use some other way to. I know they have like electronic incense burners, I guess, nowadays, because for the witches' ball, they actually have a no flame policy, which good because that's an old historical building, and that would be a shame. But we're gonna have to use some modern witchcraft techniques, especially when it comes to the ritual and not being able to have fire. Like, that was one of the biggest things that I was sad that we couldn't have, because I love fire. Fire is a very powerful element to have in ritual. So if that was my one downside with having the landmark, but I love the landmark. Next week, actually, we're going to have part 2 of the tarot introduction class by Stephanie Van Auken. So we can do that. I mean, the next week after that, we totally can. Yes, yes. Gardens can definitely help to focus things. We actually will be having a bigger garden this year. 2 seasons ago, we were selling squash, but this year we should have a lot to sell. But y'all know my dream. I want my barn with the atrium on it, so my witches can come pick fresh herbs. But it is good to have a garden. It's great to have a garden. And if you don't have green thumb, well, that's how witches were portrayed as green, because most of them were in the garden all the time. This is what I learned in Salem anyway. Most of them were in the garden all the time. So anytime someone would show up, they'd be all green from their plants. So witches are green. But some witches can't grow anything. Yes, traditional witchcraft is definitely, there's a lot that have more structure, like Wicca and all that. Yeah. What now? Yeah, there's no traveling right now, that's for sure. Quarantine life, it's definitely interesting. We got to deal with it though. So, do we have any questions? Any questions at all? We had some good questions tonight. Thank you. I wasn't just talking to myself this whole time, which was great. Very great. But just to sum it up, since I know some people are coming in here at the end, we did talk about number 1. We're talking about our Witches Challenge 2020, which is the recreating your favorite witchy movie scene and posting it with the hashtag Witches Challenge 2020 and putting it up with the original scene. And we're doing a giveaway for one Witches Ball ticket, which is a $75 value, which is awesome. So deadline for that is May 15th. And then we were talking about some of the things that you guys brought up when I questioned everyone on what their biggest struggle was when it comes to witchcraft. And those were budget, confidence, commitment, and haha, Justin, you're coming in at the end. Sorry. But the replay will be available very soon, I promise. But yeah, budget, Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, confidence, commitment, and being the commitment. That's the practicing daily and doing little things here and there. That even just lighting a candle, if you're thinking of, I don't know, if you need an extra boost of like protection or something, you can dress a candle real quick and put it out there. If you need, I know, I'm sorry. Not last time though, not last time. You got here at the beginning last time. Um, but yeah, lots of different things that you can do. There are. And if you don't write your own spells, that's okay. There are tons of spell books out there. There's tons of books. Excuse me, coffee. There's tons of books where it's like 1,001 spells, 5,000 spells, 1,000 spells. You can use these as bones for your spells. All of these, if you don't have all the ingredients, you can figure out a different way to do it. But the bones are still there. They have pretty much every problem you could ever need to solve in these books. And it doesn't always have to be witchcraft books either. You can look into conjure. You can look into hoodoo, herb and root magic, root work. You know, you can look into all these different things because it's all connected. It's all connected. You can use all of these things. Voodoo, all of it. All of it. All good things. Sure, you can share it in the group. Oh, there you go, see? And yeah, spell books are good. And then, you know, as you do your workings, you should be writing exactly what you did in your Book of Shadows, especially if you do something a little bit different than the original spell calls for. You should definitely put that in your Book of Shadows because you need to keep track of what is working for you and what is not working for you. That's huge. That's tracker. You're tracking your magic. You're figuring out what's working and what's not. It's very important. Even if it's some chintzy little notebook, it doesn't matter. Like the cosmetic look of your book does not matter. I mean, mine's beautiful. It's only because I made it. I think you guys saw it for the poppet thing. I'll show you anyway because I'm here. So this one's mine. It's a QVC. But this is just a regular black book. And then I took a slab of clay and I created all this. I like scored it and I put the mushrooms on. And then of course I scored it and put these crystals inlaid into it. And I only did that because I had the clay and all the stuff to make it. But you don't have to, you really, I mean, this isn't a very fancy book. It's just lined paper. Ah, you didn't see any of that. Just lined paper. Lined paper. Yeah. Pretty much every spell in here has dragon's blood. Anyway, I guess that's all for tonight. I haven't seen any other questions. Definitely. Yeah. See, the thing about sharing all these fun things is that it could inspire someone else to do something, you know, which is what we're all about. Inspiration, creation, imagination, I don't know. Witchiation, I don't know. I don't know. All right. I should probably go now. I had 2 Zoom conferences today, and I feel like I haven't talked to people in so long. I'm just like, blah, 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 blah. And I could keep going, but it's already been almost an hour. So, if anyone has any questions about tonight's episode, feel free to contact us either on our public entity page, or you can message me directly or any of the admins of your choosing. And yes, stay safe, everyone. And I hope your quarantine is going well. As always, reach out if you need help of any kind. And stay connected. Stay connected to us. We're still here. We're still functioning. We're still planning. We're still doing fun stuff. And remember to do your witches challenge. All right, guys. Happy Sunday. And happy witchcrafting. Bye.